of tissues. Hey everybody, how are you? So I don't know why I have such issues with these things getting started. It must be a black hole down here. So I want to thank you this afternoon for joining us. Today is a Fifth Avenue coffee talk, so grab yourself a cup of coffee and we will definitely go over some Redken Lighteners today. So that's pretty much our topic. So I invite you just to kick your feet up and sit back and watch. And if you have any questions, please make sure that you comment in the comment section, and I will make sure that if I don't see them, that during the actual live, that I will make sure that I answer them. So I know for some reason my glasses are kind of acting funky today, so my distance vision, I'm having a little bit of issues with it. So if I don't see you join, most definitely know that I appreciate you joining and listening in. And I will definitely take a look at all of the comments and everything afterwards. So once again, today is all about Redken Lighteners. So in the Redken portfolio, we have, we have 6 different lighteners. I always want to say 8, but we have 8 hairsprays and 6 different lighteners. And so within that portfolio of lighteners, there's different types of lighteners. So we have powder, cream, and oil. In lighteners, our powder is always going to be the strongest or the most aggressive. And within the realm of lighteners, then it's going to be your creams, and then your oils are going to be your most gentle lighteners that we have. So let's talk about the lighteners that Redken has. First of all, let's talk about Redken Freehand. If you've used Freehand and love Freehand, throw up some hearts for me, because I know I absolutely love Freehand when I am doing open air techniques. Freehand is our clay-based lightener, and it is designed for those open air techniques, your balayage. It is for off scalp only. And what's nice about the Freehand lightener is because it is a clay-based lightener, it does form a hard outer shell on the inside so that the inside of the product can continue to process. So whenever we utilize lighteners, say Flashlift, for example, in an open air technique, the one thing that we battle against is going to be that lightener drying out. When that lightener dries out, it stops acting. So we get no more lift out of it. So that's where the Freehand lightener for our open air techniques really is incredible, because it will continue to process. However, there is a stipulation, if you will. So you need to make sure that you apply enough product. And I work with some incredible Redken educators, and one of these Redken educators, her name is Becky Workema. She is the Redken educator for Michigan, and we were talking one time and she gave me a great analogy as to how we should be applying the Redken Freehand lightener. So give me some likes if you have ever frosted a cake. Throw up some thumbs. It could be frosting a cake, frosting cupcakes, but if you've ever frosted, or even cookies for that matter, if you've ever frosted anything, brownies, I love frosted brownies. So throw me up some thumbs up if you've done that. Great, perfect. So what happens, let's say we're frosting a chocolate cake, okay, which happens to be my favorite. We're frosting a chocolate cake and we're utilizing cream cheese frosting. Oh, another one that is my favorite. So if anybody ever wants to send me a cake, chocolate with cream cheese frosting. Okay, so, but anyway, so we're frosting this cake, and all of a sudden we start to see these chocolate crumbs coming through that frosting. What do? That's right. We put more frosting on top. We don't want to see any of those crumbs, right? We just want to see, oh, that good stuff, that frosting. So think of when you are applying your balayage technique, when you're utilizing your freehand lightener, like you're frosting a cake. You want to make sure that if you see any hair, aka crumbs, coming through there, through that product, you need to put more product on. Saturation is always going to be key when it comes to doing an open air technique. Now with our freehand lightener, it is designed to give us up to 6 levels of lift. And whenever we say up to, it always is dependent upon the canvas that we're working on. But when we do balayage or open air techniques, those are meant to be much gentler results, where more subtle results. Okay, so whenever we close something within a foil, we actually get more of a harsh line or more action behind the lightener. So most definitely keep in mind, balayage is meant to be a subtle, gentle result. And when you're applying your freehand lightener, pretend like you're frosting a cake and you don't want to see any crumbs coming through that product. So throw me up some thumbs up if you're still with me and you like what you're hearing. Great. So our next lightener, which is my favorite, by the way, is Flashlift. Flashlift, I absolutely love this. This is my go-to lightener. Whenever I'm going to enclose something in a foil, I always go to my Flashlift. Flashlift can give us up to 8 levels of lift. Wow, right? Oh, let me back up for a minute. Let me go back to the freehand. Mixing ratio. Hello, I forgot to tell you that. So the mixing ratio for the freehand lightener is 1 to 1.5. So that would be 1 part lightener to 1.5 parts developer. And it's kind of like stirring powdered sugar to start with. And so gently fold that lightener into the product. Once it starts to get kind of like biscuit dough, then you can really start mixing. Kind of funny how all of my analogies involve food, right? Yeah. So back to our Flashlift. Flashlift can give us up to 8 levels of lift, and it is mixed in a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 ratio. The 1-to-1 ratio is going to give you the absolute most out of your lightener. Whenever we utilize Flashlift on scalp, because Flashlift is designed for both off scalp as well as on scalp. So when we utilize it for off scalp, it is to be mixed in a 1-to-2 ratio. And the nice thing about Flashlift is it is one of our lighteners that can be utilized, where you can utilize 30 volume with our Flashlift on scalp. But always remember, mix it in a 1-to-2 ratio when you're doing it for on scalp. Now, all of our lighteners within our portfolio, they will process up to 50 minutes, and all of them process with 0 heat. No, you do not need to put heat to it, okay? I know a lot of people will ask me, well, if it's not really quite lifting, if I just need like that very end, just to kind of, get it to move a little bit faster. You wanna know a trick? In order to get your lightener to like really work at its peak the whole time that it's on the hair, remix your lightener every 15 minutes. So if it's gonna take you 45 minutes to apply your foil packets, remix every 15 minutes a new batch of lightener. I know. You're saying to yourself, I don't have time for that in the salon, right? But trust me when I say you will get more out of your lightener by remixing. Mix in smaller batches and maybe bring a couple bowls over to your station ready to be mixed so that you don't have to keep walking away. But you will get a whole lot more out of your lightener when you remix every 15 minutes. And that also goes with your hair color, especially your high lift blondes. So I know, and like I said, a lot of people ask me, can I use heat? Can I use heat? No, absolutely not. The lighteners today, we don't need to use heat. I love what one of our Redken educators told me is that, you know, on the back of the box or on the back of the tub, it says to not use heat. And so then we start thinking, could I use heat? Do you think I could? Wonder what would happen. If the back of the box or the back of the tub said, do not use heat because your lightener will swell, your lightener will bleed and create spotting or perhaps create a reaction on the scalp, would you still use heat? Probably not. So just remember, it is recommended 0 heat with all of our lighteners. Perfect. So if you're loving Flashlift, throw up some hearts or some thumbs. That is my favorite. It's my go-to. Now, before Flashlift came along, this was my tried and true up to 7. I know the words are backwards, but can you guess how many levels of lift you get out of up to 7? Absolutely, yes. We can get up to 7 levels of lift, and this, like I said, was my tried and true. I absolutely loved up to 7, and it is still a fabulous lightener, so don't discount that, right? So there again, this one is mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio, and it can be utilized on or off scalp. If you're mixing it for on scalp, you would only utilize 10 or 20 volume peroxide developer. Like I said, Flashlift is the only one that you can go up to 30 volume peroxide developer on scalp. My next favorite, actually, I like all of these, right? Blonde Dimensions. If you use Blonde Dimensions, throw me up some hearts, throw me up some thumbs. Blonde Dimensions is a fabulous lightener. Remember I said in the realm of lighteners, powder is going to be probably your most aggressive, your most powerful lighteners. So within our powder lighteners, Blonde Dimensions is going to be our gentlest. This is why we recommend Blonde Dimensions for any type of corrective work. So Blonde Dimensions has cationic conditioners in it. It's de-dusted and it has this great fragrance. You can get up to 6 levels of lift with Blonde Dimensions, but like I said, it is probably the gentlest of the powders within our Redken portfolio. Whenever I have to do any type of corrective wash, Blonde Dimensions is what we recommend at Redken to utilize for your washes. So if you do not have Blonde Dimensions in your back room, most definitely you need to get some, because right now we are pushing the limits of hair color further than we have ever pushed them before. All of these products are great to utilize with your pH bonder, and most definitely remember to send them home with your Color Extend bonder as well. So those are our 4 powder lighteners: Flashlift, Freehand, Blonde Dimensions, and up to 7. All great lighteners. Each one serves a little bit different purpose. Now, in the realm of cream lighteners, Redken has one cream lightener, and that is the Blonde Icing. Blonde Icing is a very gentle lightener, and it is great for sensitized hair as well. I do not have it pictured here, but blonde icing is that lightener that actually helps to preserve that lipid rate or the lymphatic rate within our hair, which is very important because that lymphatic rate is what lives between the cuticle and the cortex of our hair, and that's what keeps our hair soft and supple. So the blonde icing is definitely a lightener that if you have someone with more sensitized hair, that is a great lightener to go to. Nice thing about blonde icing, it can be mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio, a 1-to-2 ratio, or a 1-to-3 ratio. So it's kind of like one of those customizable consistencies within our lighteners. If you haven't tried blonde icing, most definitely try it. You will love it. And then last in our portfolio, but not least, is our Blonde Idol Blue Oil Lightening System. So for me, this is what I use on my hair to pre-lighten my hair. I used to use either Flashlift or up to 7, and I was one of those people that would sit there and itch with the lightener on because I have a little bit of a sensitive scalp. Let me just say, when I use the blue oil, the Blue Idol Blue Oil Lightening System, I get zero itch from it. It is an absolutely great lightener to utilize on scalp. Now, when you open up the box, we have inside packets of powder as well as some oil. So what this does, this is going to be our gentlest lightener. Now, it does say that you can utilize this on or off scalp. For me, if I have somebody with really sensitized hair, me personally, I like to go to Blonde Dimensions because that's a great one. This one is more of like a gel consistency, so I find Blonde Dimensions for sensitized hair or the blonde icing easier to work with inside a foil. I absolutely love the Blue Oil Lightening System for on scalp. How it's mixed is you can mix either 1 or 2 packets of the blue powder to 1 ounce of oil and then 2 ounces of 10 or 20 volume peroxide developer. Now for me, I always use the 2 packets because I figure it's a lightener. I want to get the most out of it that I absolutely can. And so I always mix with the 2 packets, 1 ounce of oil and 2 ounces of either 10 or 20 volume peroxide developer. This one is unsurpassed in client comfort. It has more of a controlled lift, and you can get up to 7 levels of lift with this product. This is my favorite. This is my go-to for those bleach and tones, of which are coming back. Yeah, they are really coming back because of the colors that we're creating. All those silvers, the pastels, the unicorn hair, all of those tones that need to be pre-lightened, and a lot of people are pre-lightening on scalp again. So most definitely think about that one when you're utilizing your on scalp techniques. So that's all of our lighteners. Wow, that was a lot in just a few minutes, right? So I hope that you will comment as to what it is that you would like from me. What is it that you need? Every Friday I come live and I try to give you information that can help you behind the chair. So if there is something specific that you want to know behind the chair, most definitely instant message me, reach out to me through Facebook, Instagram, whatever's easiest for you, because I am here to help you. So thank you, Alyssa, for that. Absolutely. Sometimes we can get overwhelmed. It's like, oh my gosh, why are there so many lighteners? And do I need to have all of them? Oh, you know what? To be totally honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. You know what? We would like for you to have every single lightener that we have, but just know, and I know that sometimes that's not feasible, but just know that if you have an issue or if you have a need, chances are Redken can definitely definitely fill that need. And Alyssa is asking, let's see, can you put freehand in a foil like when your associate mixes the wrong one? Ooh, the wrong one. You know what? You probably could put freehand in a foil. It is probably more of not as cost effective, okay, for that, but okay, I have put a foil over top of my freehand just to kind of get the lightener to lift a little bit more, but like I said, it really wouldn't be the most cost effective. Flashlift or Blonde Dimensions would definitely be more cost effective. So I would say, I think if your associate mixed the wrong one, yeah, I would hate to waste product. I know, Alyssa, I know. So thank you for that question. Absolutely, thank you for that question. So I want to give a shout out to Brianna at Styling One. She is our first winner in the Pumpkin Pass retail contest for the month of November, and she has won a styling caddy to put all of her Redken products in. She can use it on her station at work, or she can use it at home in her closet. So thank you, Brianna, and keep up the good work at Styling One. And remember, if you have a need, anything that you want me to cover on our Fifth Ave Coffee Talks, most definitely comment below. And until next week, have a cup of coffee on me. Thanks. Bye.